Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and today we'll be breaking down what happened at Jets training camp this morning. It's day number 6, day number 2 of full pads. I'm excited to give you guys this video. As you guys know, I've been posting videos here ever since training camp started. I have a new playlist that breaks down every single live stream and video I've done on training camp, so I'll leave that down below in the description if you guys are not caught up of what's going on for the New York Jets 2023 training camp. This morning, we're going to talk about the injury report, what happened at practice, who won, who's looking good, who are some stars that are standing out. I'm excited to give you guys this video. As you guys can tell, I love making training camp videos. One of my favorite pieces of content to make throughout the season. So if you guys are just tuning into Jets Media for the first time, my name is Richie. It would mean a lot to me if you guys can simply hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and consider hitting that like button if you guys enjoyed this video, and comment down below your thoughts and your biggest takeaways from the Jets training camp this morning. With that being said, let's dive right into practice. So before we get into what the injury report is, overall the consensus of this morning was the defense beat the offense, and it seems like every other day, oh, the offense won this day. Okay, the defense won this day. Well, today, the defensive line was eating against the offensive line. And as you guys know, when the full pads go on, everything changes. Yesterday was the first day, and the offensive line got the better of the defensive line, according to Robert Saleh yesterday at practice. Well, that was not the case today. The defensive line was eating up everything, and the star of practice was Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson is poised for a breakout season in year number 2. He switches his number back to 11. He's been wearing 11 throughout his entire life. I think Jermaine Johnson is poised for a breakout season, and you should too. And I just feel like it's inevitable, man, for this guy to just go crazy. And that's why the first thing I want to talk about is Jermaine Johnson, because he has been on another level. Quinnen Williams goes out of his way in the press conference when they report the training camp, just talking about how he's bigger, faster, smarter, has all the intangibles. Robert Saleh bringing him up. And I've been at practice over the weekend, was not there today, but I noticed Jermaine Johnson was out there starting with the defensive line. It was Jermaine, JFM, Al Woods, and Quinnen Williams. And we know that this defensive line is going to have a heavy rotation, but it's cool to see Jermaine Johnson out there with the starters because he deserves more playing time. So now let's get into what happened in terms of the injuries, and then we'll go back into what happened on the practice field this morning. So apparently I saw a tweet, I believe, that CJ Uzomah is trending in the right direction to get back onto the practice field. Mekhi Becton is day-to-day. Robert Saleh said, quote, Becton's knee wasn't up for it today, and they are also keeping him on a pitch count, right? Mekhi Becton's coming off knee surgery over the summer, or over last season summer, and, you know, the Jets are playing it smart. They don't want to rush Mekhi Becton out there. They want to make sure he's ready to play football this season, and there's no reason to throw him out there if he's dealing with some knee soreness. So definitely some interesting things to keep in mind as this offensive tackle competition starts to heat up, because we did see something along that offensive tackle position that we'll get into after the injury report, but Mekhi Becton is dealing with some knee soreness. He's day-to-day, nothing to be concerned about, but the Jets are, you know, keeping in mind and not trying to force him and push him, because last year, apparently, according to Mekhi, they did that, and that forced him to get injured. So definitely keep in mind about that. Allen Lazard is still out of practice with the muscle tightness in his lower leg, and then today, John Franklin Myers left practice with groin tightness. Robert Saleh said he might miss a couple of practices, but nothing to be concerned about. And, you know, tightness in your muscles, in your lower half, and things like that, that's going to happen in training camp, right? Groin tightness, lower leg tightness, calf tightness. I mean, those things are going to happen as long as they're minor muscle issues. That's a good sign, because we don't need, you know, bad season-ending injuries like, unfortunately, we already had in OTAs to Chuck Clark. So nothing to be concerned about on the injury front. Now, getting into what happened at practice today, I want to start out about the offensive tackle position, because we're going to be talking about that pretty much every single training camp video, because that's the biggest topic, I think, in training camp in terms of who's going to be the starting left tackle and the starting right tackle. So with Mekhi Becton sitting out today, the Jets actually switched the offensive tackle positions today. So usually Billy Turner has been left tackle. Max Mitchell's been right tackle. Well, the Jets switched it around. Max Mitchell was at left tackle today. Billy Turner was at right tackle. So I think what the Jets are trying to do here is really get both these tackles and all the tackles in general comfortable playing both sides in case of injuries throughout the season. And they're competing for the spot. Does Max Mitchell look better at right tackle? Does he look better at left tackle? Same with Billy Turner. Billy Turner has experience at both. Max Mitchell does not have experience at both in the NFL. So definitely interesting to see that. Max Mitchell apparently held his ground and looked really good at left tackle. So I think Max Mitchell low-key has been the best tackle in Jets training camp thus far. The rookie from last season, he's going into year number 2. I really like what I'm seeing from Max Mitchell. Everything we're hearing about him from the coaching staff, I'm excited, man. We might have found a gem in last year's draft class. I'm projecting, if I had to guess, Max Mitchell's going to win the starting right tackle spot. That's my bold prediction. Now, getting into what happened on the practice field, I know we talked about the offensive tackles. Well, guess what? I talked about it already to start off this video. The defensive line was absolutely obliterating. This was their day. They were getting to the quarterback, sack after sacks. We already talked about Jermaine Johnson. He was a star, but other two players are Will McDonald, the rookie, and Bryce Huff. They're screaming off the edge. Even in the one-on-one drills, they are beating the offensive tackles pretty much every single time. Will McDonald had a strip sack, went through Billy Turner to strip Aaron Rodgers. Bryce Huff had a sack. I mean, the defensive edges on this team is so fun to watch, and I cannot wait to see it, how it all unfolds. And it's not really surprising to me that this Jets defensive line is getting the better of the offensive line this early in camp, because guess what, folks? This Jets defensive line is better than the Jets offensive line. That's not breaking news, so it's expected, at least in my perspective, that the Jets D-line is dominating the offensive line early in camp. So definitely cool to see, though, that Will McDonald is flashing. I mean, not only did he have one sack, he had multiple sacks today, and his freakishly athleticism is something that really, really stands out. And Robert Saleh spoke about it in the press conference today, that he's just, quote, freakish. I mean, they don't build guys like Will McDonald. When I saw Will McDonald with my own eyes at camp over the weekend, I was in awe just in terms of his body. He's built different. I mean, I know that's a word that people like to throw around, or a phrase rather, built different. This man's so tall. He's a lot bigger than I expected in terms of his body frame. His arms are freakishly long. I mean, he looks like a guy that is poised to be really good right out of the gate as a rookie, and it's exciting to see him make some plays. And Will McDonald was dealing with a leg contusion when I was at camp over the weekend, so I was unable to see him practice. I will be at practice tomorrow, so I'm excited to see what Will McDonald looks like with my own eyes. And it's cool to hear Bryce Huff's name, because I feel like a lot of people have been asking me, where's Bryce Huff? We're hearing about all these players on the defensive line. Where's Bryce Huff? Well, he made a lot of plays today. He flashed, and he is that guy. Him, Will McDonald, and Carl Lawson, and Jermaine. I mean, I can keep going. You guys know who's on this defensive line, but it's damn exciting. Another piece of this defensive line that was eating today was Quinnen Williams and Al Woods plugging up the run game. So apparently they are, quote, unblockable versus the run, according to Zach Rosenblatt. And the Jets offensive, run game has been struggling. And I think that has a lot to do with Quinnen Williams and Al Woods plugging up holes up the middle, and the Jets rotating on this offensive line. So the Jets defensive line overall was plugging up the holes, Quinnen Williams and Al Woods dominating in the interior, and then we had edge rushers all over the place flying at the quarterback. So that's really the trench report. Now let's get into some other things in terms of the secondary. So Tony Adams, he had his first interception of training camp. He actually picked off Aaron Rodgers on a deep ball to Corey Davis. Now, there are some reports saying that there was a flag, so it could have been a free play, and Rodgers just want to force it down the field to get Corey Davis to make a play. Don't have a video of it, but Tony Adams goes out there and make a grab. Really cool to see Tony Adams. He is a guy that is fighting for that starting free safety spot with Adrian Amos and Ashtyn Davis. It's going to be between Amos and Adams for sure, but Adams is definitely making a case for doing just that. And then Zaire Barnes, he had an interception today versus Tim Boyle. So Barnes, he made a play yesterday, and we talked about the rookie on my training camp video yesterday. So it's cool to see Barnes have back-to-back days where his name is called. So the rookie is fighting for that third linebacker spot, but I don't think he's going to win that as a rookie over Sherwood. But it is cool to see him making some progression. I'm excited to see what he does in the preseason. Now, talking about Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson looked pretty darn good today. And we'll get into Aaron Rodgers, don't worry. But Zach Wilson had a 65-yard touchdown pass to Erickson. Now, Erickson is a player the Jets just brought in, and it's really cool to see that Zach Wilson is making some strides in the right direction. So I do want to show you guys this tweet from Robbie Sabo, because He does a great job of just bringing to life exactly what happened for this New York Jets team. This is another throw that Zach Wilson had, and Sabo says, quote, "Then Zach Wilson pulls off an encouraging one. Tough throw, short outside, decent coverage to Kenny Yeboah, but here's the call out. Jermaine Johnson undressed rookie Carter Warren on the play. Simple hand slap down, moving wide, which means Zach Wilson had Jermaine Johnson in his face immediately, and on the same side, the throw was attempted. He didn't freeze, remained confident." So this is a really good breakdown from Robbie Sabo from Jet X Factor, and this is the type of progression that I like to hear from Zach Wilson, that there's pressure in his face and he's not getting frazzled. He's stepping up confidently and still letting it rip. Those are the little things that we have to see from Zach Wilson. Another thing about that 65-yard touchdown to Erickson, apparently Robbie Sabo breaks down really well as in another tweet that he noticed it was timed perfectly, the accuracy, the poise, and the more important thing that we've all been asking Zach Wilson to get better at is his lower half. Stepping into that back foot and driving, not having sloppy footwork, right? We don't really talk about the footwork anymore because we have Aaron Rodgers and he's a master at it. But when we talk about Zach Wilson, those are the little things that he needs to improve on. So it's cool to see Zach Wilson be able to uncork one down the field, stepping into his throw, having a 50-yard bomb down the field with timing, precision, accuracy. That's really cool, man. Zach Wilson continues to do great things. He also had a touchdown in the front quarter of the end zone to Jason Brownlee. Jason Brownlee continues to flash. That's really exciting to see. So Zach Wilson, excellent day at practice. Aaron Rodgers, didn't really get to see a lot about Aaron Rodgers. He had a good throw to Conklin on third down, but overall, I think the defense was in Aaron Rodgers' face today, and he was getting rid of the ball fast, but the secondary was really clamping up today. And without Allen Lazard out there, that's one less weapon for Aaron Rodgers to rely on. And one thing I want to talk about in terms of Aaron Rodgers that some people need to consider, because I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that are a little concerned about the offensive line, and obviously we should be, right? It's a offensive line that is working around a lot of injuries from last year, figuring out who's starting where. But the one thing about Aaron Rodgers that makes me feel confident about this offensive line is he helps out offensive line simply because of the reason of him getting rid of the ball fast, right? Aaron Rodgers is so quick at getting rid of the ball to the point where you're not going to get sacked a lot. And that was Zach Wilson's issue last year, where when you don't have a good mental makeup and you can't process things fast, you're going to hold on to the ball and get indecisive, which is going to result in sacks. When you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you're just not going to get sacked as much, even if the offensive line is struggling a little bit, because he gets rid of the ball really quickly. Salah alluded to Carl Lawson actually bringing that up in meetings, saying like, I get off my stance and I'm about to get to Rodgers and the ball's already out. Like, I don't even have a chance to sack him because he gets rid of the ball so fast. So even the Jets defensive linemen are not used to having a quarterback that just knows how to get rid of the ball in the first couple seconds of the ball being snapped. So that's something really cool to look out for. Jets fans, we're not used to it, but soak it in. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Well, now I kind of want to end off these videos with some clips from yesterday's practice in the future. So now look at these Garrett Wilson's touchdowns from yesterday's practice. I mean, we did not really hear a lot about Garrett Wilson in today's practice, but yesterday he had multiple touch dimes from Aaron Rodgers. This one down the sideline, and then we have another one for a long touchdown. I mean, Garrett Wilson continues to be the star of training camp, and I am really excited. So I did want to share with you guys some Garrett Wilson footage because I think you deserve to see it if you did not see it already on social media yesterday. So that's going to wrap up training camp recap. I appreciate all you guys tuning into Jets Media. Of course, comment down below a Statue of Liberty emoji if you stayed all the way into the end. I'll catch you guys in my next one. And as always, let's go Jets. Peace out, guys.